2 lead, do about 6 wraps on there. Got a countersunk bead so that the lead will fit right up in it. And I'm going to use my old scissors to cut the lid, keeping the sharp scissors for the fine stuff. That's the other thing that's very useful when you're weaving, is sharp scissors. So I've got that lead tucked right up in the hole of the bead there. Now, I'm using size 6 thread to start it, because it's thicker and it takes less wrapping to get the taper that I was talking about. When I go to finish the head, I will move to a size 8, simply because smaller thread allows you not to have such a big clog up at the head of the fly. You can put a tail on these if you choose. Some of those I've shown you have tails on them. I'm not going to do that today for the sake of expedience, because what you're concerned about is the weave. The tail isn't necessary, really. The other thing you can do on a bigger fly is to, instead of using thread on your wrap, is to use one strand of the embroidery floss to build the body. The idea here is to build the taper and to make the body the same color as the thread, so if there is any peekaboo space in your weave, it doesn't look odd. Try to cover it as best you can. I wasn't kidding you, was I? Okay, so I'm going to do something different here. I've already got this one set up. This is, and I'll show you how to split the yarn in a minute. There's a trick to that too. I'm going to tie this one facing me on the facing side of, and this is the dark color. Just tie it in on the side, all the way back to the back. Let that dangle. Now you'll notice that I'm not using the yarn without or blank. You can do that. You can use just the yarn without putting it on a bobbin. But if you use a bobbin with it, especially when it's smaller, it helps you maintain tension. Just gives you something to hang on to while you're weaving, because the weaves take a little longer when the yarn is smaller. Now, what color do you think was going to be a good match for that? For that brown, you want to do yellow or white?
Yellow.
Yellow. All right. Okay, that's going to go on the other side. Yeah, it does.
You start.
Again, we'll give a few wraps here. Cover up that yellow thread if I can. Then you're going to get rid of this altogether. Come on. Okay, if you're not using bobbins, make sure your thread or the thread that you're going to pick up with after you get it tied is handy and there's a little bit hanging beyond it, because you'll need that to capture the end of the weave. Okay, I'm going to move the vise now so it faces me. Okay. You just follow my lead,
Yeah,
huh?
hey, you're staying in frame, really.
Okay.
Tiny. See if it'll spot focus. Nope. Stop. Here's where it is.
Okay. Again, white over, capture with the brown. White over, capture with the brown, keeping the tension even at all times. White over, capture with the brown. White over, capture with the brown. White over, capture with the brown. Light 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 over, capture with the brown. Grab the end of the weave, turn it over, reinsert. It's the other advantage of the bobbins, because they're going to hold the weave for you until you pick up the right thread. If you don't have the bobbins, you gotta hang on to it here and string it in like this. You know, just grabbing it that way.
Okay. The paint discussions is George Grant.
That's it.
And then there was another guy named Potts who was famous for weaving things.
Somebody got famous doing this?
Had a pamphlet. Kind of cool if I can remember what thing it was.
Okay.
I keep saying that to you, but I think it's just between you and me.
I got a book I'm gonna bring in, let Paul look at.
Sometime I'll bring my Kelly cover and we get a kick out of it.
I always cut these things separately so that
In the history of
you get less material to clog up your head. Pretty good, pretty good. And the last step on the Polish Nymph is to put a little wrap of stuff on it. Doesn't take much, just kind of tuck it in there behind the head, or behind the bead. So it gets a little buggy. And you can also, if you do change threads, when you finish up, you can go to a red thread or a rust-colored thread so you get that hot spot right behind the bead. And that's all there is to it. Throw on a little head cement, you're ready to fish.
Well done, Tim.